Hello everyone, welcome to a one-off Let's Play of Prime. Those of you who follow the channel may have seen that Prime won my top roguelikes ever up to this point in time list recently. It was my number one choice, and the longer-standing viewers among you might be aware that I have in the past occasionally done kind of one-off Let's Plays of things. I did one of Forays into Norendrin, for instance, which actually turned out to be 2 episodes, but the principle still stands. The point is, a game that I think I'd have fun Let's Playing on camera for a while, but which I don't necessarily want to make a whole series out of. So, I'm going to do a few of those in the coming times. I've mentioned this on Twitter, for those of you who follow me on Twitter. That's the place to keep up with me-related news, particularly if you like screenshots of goofy things happening in roguelikes. So yeah, the first up is Prime. I'm just in the mood to play Prime today, and I thought I might as well commentate while I'm doing it. So here we are, Prime, which as you can see rather contrivedly stands for Pesky Reticulans Improvements More Everything. Reticulans are kind of the alien, generic, grey, big-headed alien race in this. Prime, for those not aware, is, I believe, an unofficial, well, it says right there, unofficial variant of zap'm. Zap'm was, and is, basically a science fiction version of Nethack. And it's much closer to Nethack than Prime is. Prime is still quite Nethacky, but zap'm maintains the same interface and everything. Whereas Prime has been a lot more developed and a lot more refined over time. So anyway, let's jump in, shall we? And although it says unofficial variant of zap'm, basically that's because it's made by a different person, but I think zap'm is no longer being developed as far as I'm aware, so this is the closest thing there is to an official up-to-date zap'm. So let's jump in, shall we? You'll see also there that it lists Necklace of the Eye version 7.6. There we go. Right, what's your name? Whatever I change my name to, it defaults me back to Alan. The first time I played Prime, I chose Alan as my name, and whatever I change it to, it defaults to Alan now. Even after I've deleted the game and re-downloaded a new version, it still defaults to Alan, so I don't know what's going on there. But let's not call our guy Alan today. Let's call him Leopold. Leopold, in fact, was the name I chose for my pet/familiar in the Game Boy Color version of the quasi-roguelike As Your Dreams. Let's jump in. So, unlike many roguelikes, but like some, we get a choice of race and class things. And they're spliced together here. It's not like something like Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup, where you can choose a race and a class more or less independently of each other. Here, obviously, race and class are tied together. So you can be a human space marine, you can't be a reticulan space marine. As usual with roguelikes, you usually default to kind of the fighter class when you're new to a game. So I defaulted to human space marine for my first few plays, but I actually find that quite difficult. For my money, the best beginner class for someone who's new to Prime, and bear in mind, I'm still pretty new. You know, I've only got maybe a dozen floors or so into the game at most. But for my money, the best beginner class for a newcomer is Human Ninja. The reason being, there's not a lot of convoluted stuff going on. No complex abilities or anything. No complex weapons. He basically uses a sword. But it's a very strong melee class right from the outset. Very, very deadly in melee right from the beginning of the game. And you start off equipped with a suit which makes you camouflaged as long as you're standing next to a wall, which gives you an advantage. And sometimes you'll start off with something like X-ray glasses. That's one of the things with Prime. Each class has not exactly the same loadout each time. So, for instance, the Yautja Hunter, which you'll see me be today, I assume that's pronounced Yautja, Maybe it's Yotya, I don't know. But basically, that class is the Predator from Predator. Because Prime is full of science fiction references. And that class tends to start with 2 weapons, usually 1 melee and 1 ranged, from a selection of things like wrist blades, smart disc, which is the kind of circular boomerang thing they throw sometimes, plasma caster, net launcher, a kind of spear thing, that kind of stuff. But it's not the same 2 every time. Similarly, the human ninja sometimes starts with X-ray goggles, sometimes it's a targeting visor, various things like that. But I find human ninja is a good starting class. But my best class so far is Yautja Hunter, which is why that's what we're going with today. So, waffle aside, let's just plough on, shall we? So first, let's pop up the inventory to have a look, like so. And we'll see what we've got. Okay, so we've got, you can see 50 energy cells, which we're probably not going to need. I don't think we have any energy weapons, but we might pick some up at some point. We have a spear gun rifle and a razor whip. So, as I said, 1 ranged weapon, 1 melee weapon. I'll switch to using the whip in a minute, because I do prefer to melee. As far as I know, you don't find a lot of spear gun ammo around, so that's going to be an issue. We also start with plate armour, a biomask, which does actually let you change your vision mode in true Predator style. At the moment, we're in thermal mode. I assume that serves to let you see different kinds of camouflaged or cloaked enemies later in the game, but I haven't really reached a stage where that's necessary yet. And a cloaking belt, which frankly I tend to forget that I have. The glory device, which sounds extremely sinister, is, as far as I'm aware, basically a suicide device. It's the thing that you see in Predator that blows up when the Predator knows that it can't win anymore. And one of the great advantages, basically this class has some fantastic starting advantages. One is, it starts with a good melee weapon and a good ranged weapon. Whatever they are, they're always decent. Always starts with solid armour, its various mask and cloaking abilities, and, crucially, under tools, it starts with a computer. You see, you find a lot of floppy disks in Prime which serve the purpose of things like potions and scrolls in more conventional fantasy roguelikes. And you need a computer to be able to run them. And you don't find that many computers in the game, at least in the early game. I can't speak for later on. So it gets old wandering around finding millions of floppy disks and not being able to run them. So it's nice that the Yautja Hunter, it's not the only class, but it is one of the classes that starts with a computer. So, let's go, shall we? First, I'm going to switch to using the razor whip. No point in wasting our limited supply of spears on these piss-easy early game monsters, so we'll just kill some of these. Green stairs here are the stairs down to the next floor. As you can see, not much of a plot. Some classes actually have a background story. The human space marine thing and the ninja both have some kind of background story. This one doesn't. We're basically just exploring the space station as far as I'm aware. Green stairs go down to the next floor. Red stairs go up. There won't be any on this floor because it's the first. But we will explore a bit, see if we can find some gear and gain some levels and stuff before we head downstairs. There isn't a food clock in this. There is kind of a radiation clock. Certain things can cause you to become irradiated, which is an issue, obviously. But it's not a persistent ticking clock. Barreled cannon. I don't think I've ever seen one of those before. Might as well take it. Might be useful later on. Lots of locked doors at the moment. You can pick locked doors if you have suitable skills and or equipment. That's one of the advantages of the ninja. Starts with the lockpicks. Or you can just kick them or shoot them open. There's another glory device. Don't really want that. You'll notice, incidentally, that the glory device is buggy. A buggy glory device. That doesn't mean that it's riding in a small novelty jeep. What it does mean is that it's the equivalent of cursed in a fantasy game. Debugged is, as far as I'm aware, sort of neutral. And I think enhanced, maybe, is the equivalent of blessing in something like Nethack or washack or something like that. You'll usually find either debugged or buggy stuff. And, of course, things can become buggy as you go along, which tends to happen to me. So, that was a dead end. Let's trot back over here. And we'll just actually kick this door open. you do sustain some damage doing that, so you want to be careful about doing it too much. Like now we're down to half health just from throwing ourselves against the door. So sometimes it can be worth using a gun to blast a locked door open. Let's examine our spear gun and see... No, not our spear gun, the gun we picked up. What was that? The barreled cannon. Examine that and see what kind of ammo it uses. Does it say? Doesn't seem to say. That's not useful. Oh well, it might use bullets, so I'm going to pick the bullets up. Ammo isn't exactly heavy anyway. Green mechanical armour. Probably not going to replace our plate armour. Actually, we're burdened. We're carrying too much stuff. I think a lot of that is going to be our cannon thing that we picked up. So, I'm going to drop the green mechanical armour, because we already have plate armour. We're pretty well armoured. Stylized energy pistol. Nah, not going to bother. We're going to be pretty melee-centric most of the time. There we go. And is there a bit more to explore? Yeah, there's one more door over here. See these vat things, incidentally? You can drink from sludge vats if you want to. Sometimes they'll spawn enemies or make you ill or various things. But they can also cause you to mutate, which gives you psionic powers, the equivalent of magic. But the price is that the more of it you drink, the more irradiated you become. And I've had runs end several times from me basically just getting radiation poisoning. Your maximum health starts to plunge like a rock, and then you die. So, we just picked up a floppy disk. I'm going to execute it using X, because we have a computer, we can actually do that. Floppy disks can sometimes be dangerous. The most frustrating one is the one that causes your computer to die, basically. Let's see what this one is. Your razor whip shudders. Usually you get multiple uses out of a floppy disk, so let's see. Yeah, so we still have a few uses on that. And it's a buggy floppy disk of enhanced weapon. So the fact that our razor whip shuddered, probably combined with the fact that this is buggy, i.e. cursed, probably means it's actually weakened our razor whip. Let's have a look. Yeah, if you see there, C, buggy -1 razor whip. So it's actually weakened our razor whip and made it buggy, which means we can't put it down. So that was a serious problem. Terrible disc. In fact, I should just throw that disc away in disgust, but I'm not going to. So, really, we could do with finding something... Oh, don't stand in the malfunctioning door. Sometimes they close on you, I believe. Let's just get away from those guys. Don't want to deal with that room. So, we could do with a floppy disk that will actually debug stuff for us. Those do exist, and it would be nice to debug our razor whip again. I think we can't unwield it once it's buggy. I could be wrong, but I think that's the case. Level 2. So we actually get to advance our skills now. What shall we go with? We're doing so much melee that I think one level of melee works. And I tend to go in for a lot of throwing grenades and stuff. So I'm going to take a level of thrown weapons too. I tend to put a lot of points into melee attacks because I do focus on melee most of the time. We still have a bit more of the floor to explore, but we found the exit there, so when we feel ready, we can go back that way. Let's kick this. You'll notice also that when we gained a level, our maximum health went up, so we're up to 24 points, which is significantly more than we had before. So let's head down to the next floor. The first few floors in Prime tend to be relatively easy. I'd say the first 5 or 6 floors. After that, once you get to about 7 or 8, it starts to seriously get more difficult. I'm going to take the energy rifle, and I'm actually going to drop our barreled cannon, because you find a lot of energy ammo in this game. So an energy weapon is usually plentifully supplied with ammo. I'm going to wield our energy rifle. No, our spear gun rifle, actually. I've never really used that. Let's see if it'll let us unwield our whip. Yes. And then I'm going to shoot this plant. The reason I chose to shoot that is that you can take them out hand to hand, but they can kill you very quickly at close range. So I prefer not to. We picked up a woolly implant. Now, we could just stick it in our head. An implant is like, I don't know, maybe the equivalent of something like an accessory in other games. It's something you insert into your brain and it gives you bonus effects, or sometimes detrimental effects. So we could just stick it in our head and see what it does, or we could wait and hope that we get a disc that will let us identify it. This thing is a Melnorm. You can pay it to have various effects. A lot of the time, you actually won't understand these options, and it'll go A, B, C, and they'll be called just sort of gibberish words, and you'll have to guess at which one is which service. Once you've successfully used it, then you'll know what that service is. But yeah, for whatever reason, we know what they are today. Maybe it's an item. Yeah, it might be related to something we're wearing. Maybe it's the biomask. I've known a biomask translate alien speech before. Okay. So, can't find out exactly what that implant we just picked up is, but we could pay $33 to reveal whether it's buggy or not, and therefore whether we can remove it if it turns out to be something we don't want. Buy knowledge at the bottom there is obviously much more expensive, and the reason is, if you buy knowledge from a Melnorm, it basically enables you to identify things at random, but let me rephrase that. You buy knowledge, you don't know what knowledge you're going to gain, but it might be something like, you can now identify healing canisters, or you can now identify, mapping floppy disk or something, but you never know what it'll be, so it's a bit of a gamble. Let's pay $33 to reveal object bugginess, and we'll go with our woolly bionic implant. Ugh, do you really want to insert something woolly into your brain? That just sounds deeply unpleasant. Debugged. So it's safe to put in because we'll be able to take it out if it turns out to be something bad. So let's stick the woolly implant in our head. You install the debugged woolly implant. Okay, it's actually not identified. A lot of implants will identify when you put them in, but not this one. So, it actually could be detrimental to us. We don't know at the moment. So I am in fact going to remove the woolly implant until we know what it is. Hopefully we'll find a floppy disk that will allow us to identify it. We haven't seen... Oh crap, walked right into that mine's radius. Still got 6 health left, so I'll wait on the spot for a few seconds to get our health back. Oh crap, got careless with my waiting there. I'm going to have to reopen the game because it's one of those games that closes after you die. There we go. Hello, Prime. So I'll just bring it back. Move it back into the camera. I got very careless with waiting there. I do that sometimes. Some of you will be furious about that, but what the hell? It's early days. So, this time we're going to be Stuart. Because why not? Seems like a good name for a predator, don't you think? Stuart the Yautja Hunter. What have we got this time? Okay, so you can see the difference this time. We've still got energy cells, but we've also got a debugged smart disk and optimized wrist blades. Optimized, that's the thing, not enhanced. Optimized is like the improved state. Again, we've got plate armor, biomask, cloaking, belt, buggy glory device, and we've got our computer as before. You'll notice that we now have a floppy disk called Floppy Disk of Smart Disk Recall. And the way that works is your smart disk is kind of a razor boomerang thing which you can chuck. And if you throw it sort of dexterously, proficiently, you can bounce it off walls and it will come back to you. But a lot of the time that won't happen. At least for me. I'm not skillful enough with it. So it lies around on the floor, and sometimes enemies pick it up before you can get to it. But if you're really worried about that, you can run your floppy disk of Smart Disk Recall and it will come back to you. So, this is actually my favourite setup, I think. Smart Disk and wrist blades. It's probably my favourite Predator loadout, for want of a better word. So, let's head off. I equipped my wrist blades because, again, melee-centric. And energy cells and small energy tank. So, between them, that's actually quite a lot of... Oh, only 6 charges in the small energy tank, which isn't great. But still, it's more ammo for energy weapons, which we will probably start using if we survive long enough. So just kill all this crap. Again, the first few floors aren't that difficult. I shouldn't have got killed where I did in the previous run. That was just pure carelessness. you see here a pulsating bionic implant. Again, we could put it straight in and see what it does, or we could wait to see if it's buggy. It's actually usually safe to just stick implants in. Mostly they're beneficial. So I might actually do that if we don't find either a Melnorm or some floppy disks soon. Between these two runs, I'm really not seeing many floppy disks. Usually in Prime you come across quite a lot of them. But, of course, in true ironic fashion, you come across floppy disks more often when you're playing a character that doesn't have a computer. So let's head to the stairs. There we go. You'll notice also that just to the sort of bottom right, there's a mini-map, and it tells you which level you're on. So, at the moment we're on Space Base 2. The aim... well, I assume the aim is to get to the bottom of the dungeon and see what happens on the bottom of the space station or whatever. But in the short term, we've got level 2 there. So, again, I will go a level of melee and also a level of thrown, which is actually even more important this time because our smart disk is a thrown weapon. So that's a good choice there, I think. Might want to put a couple of levels into light guns at some point so that I can be more effective using something like an energy rifle when I eventually start using those things, as I probably will. Oh, what's that? Completely missed that. Another buggy glory device. That's not mine, is it? I didn't drop it by accident. Did I? Maybe I did. Huh. That's alright. I never used the glory device anyway. That's weird. Maybe something happened to me to cause me to drop it. Oh, we spot a pit trap. Let's not go into that. Okay. Take all this stuff out. That's a relatively new monster. They used to not be in this. Let's throw our smart disk at it, because why not? So you probably saw, if you're watching carefully, that bounced around in a triangle and came back to me. But often, if you just throw something straight ahead, if you throw the smart disk straight ahead at something like that, often it won't come back. You'll have to go over and get it. Or use your disk of recall to bring it in. Okay. So yeah, I was going to say our secret door. I was going to say our short-term objective is to get to the robot market. I forget the official name, but it's something like that. Which is, I think, on floor 10. And it is exactly what it sounds like. It's a collection of robotic shops. You have to pay to get in. I think it's $200 to get in, or thereabouts. But once you're in there, it's full of shops. What tends to happen to me is that I don't have enough money left to both get in and buy useful stuff there. But it's a nice milestone. I've never got far beyond that. Only a floor or two past that at my furthest. So we picked up a floppy disk there. And you know what? I'm going to live dangerously and just run it. Blinding light affects you. It was a hypnotic screensaver. Put me to sleep. That doesn't necessarily affect you. Sometimes you will successfully avoid looking at it. But not this time. Insulated canister, which is, potions basically. As you might have guessed. So I guess floppy disks are the equivalent of scrolls, and canisters are the equivalent of potions. You can throw some canisters, for instance, at enemies. Okay, another level. So, let's take... we only have 2 levels to spend. So... Oh, apparently we have 3. 3 levels to spend. It says 2 skill advancements. Maybe it means 2 separate skills. Well, whatever. I'll take 2 levels of basic melee weapons and 1 level of thrown. By which I mean thrown weapons, not 1 level of fancy regal chair. Okay. I don't particularly want the monkey wrench. I imagine it has a use for certain things in the game. Like something like Nethack, there's a lot of stuff, like you can get troll door. I think that tries to close on you and it can kill you if it does, I think. But like something like Nethack, there are sort of mini games within it. Like you can hack things and you can build things and turn robots and droids to your side and that kind of stuff. So a lot of things that seem not immediately useful, like the monkey wrench, are, I think, used for stuff like that. But since I don't really do all of that because I'm by no means proficient at Prime. I stick to the basics for now. The basics are more than challenging enough for me so far. That kamikaze goblin is chucking grenades at us, so we'd better throw our smart disk, see if we can take it out from here quickly. No, we did some damage. Foolishly, the goblin just ran straight towards us. But that's okay, we survived. We didn't come out of it very well, but we survived. Let's kill the flying toaster. Ooh, bunch of enemies coming our way. Okay, let's throw our smart disk again. Try to do some damage. There we go, took out a couple of them. Kill this remaining reticulin. And what have we got here? Don't want the anal probes or the silver jumpsuits. Anal probe is actually a melee weapon. Actually, I'll pick that up just to show you something. Those who follow me on Twitter might have seen this already because I did post a screenshot. But let's examine. I'm using the examine command there. Let's examine the anal probe, which isn't a sentence I want to overhear. I want anyone to overhear me saying. Basic melee weapon. Effect, damage, probe, 10 to 100 violating damage. Yeah, it does violation damage. Yeah, okay. So, let's just drop the anal probe. What have we got here? Energy cells. Might as well pick up the energy cells. Again, we'll probably start using an energy weapon at some point, so it does no harm to start amassing cells. I'll take the floppy disk. And I'll take the fiddly electronic gizmo. Those do different things. The most common one I've come across is a tricorder. I'm not sure exactly what a tricorder does if you use it on something, because I've never tried. Yeah, well, let's try using our fiddly electronic gizmo on this flying toaster. You turn on your fiddly electronic gizmo. Okay, well, it's just not going to tell me what it is in this case, then. So, turn it off. Yeah. It could be something like a motion sensor, since it's something you turn on and off. With a tricorder, you just use it. With some things, including, I think, the motion sensor, you turn it on or off. Minocs aren't a big threat. Facehuggers are a big threat. They look a bit like Minocs, but we won't see those for another, probably couple of floors yet. Strength will allow us to take more stuff. Actually, I'll just show you. Here we go. Tells you what they do. Strength affects your carrying capacity and melee damage. Constitution, hit point total. Dexterity helps or hurts shooting ability. Agility improves your armor class and chance of landing a blow in melee. Intelligence is hacking skills. Psionics represent your psionic ability. So, psionics, we don't have any psionic stuff, and I'm not really bothered about being charismatic. Intelligence, we're not really going to be a hacker. Usually when I'm playing a very melee class, I go for either agility or strength, because they're the ones that deal most with melee combat. So I'm going to take agility in order to improve our chance to dodge and our chance to hit with melee. Oh, I like this item. This is a nice item. Portable hole, which does exactly what it sounds like. It creates a hole through a wall or something. I think it goes, is it two squares? So I'll pick it up. And for instance, if you were to put the portable hole against this wall that's to my west now, I think the portable hole would open at the other side of those walls there. Maybe that's one square too far. Maybe it's just two squares. But yeah, you can use that to, get from room to room and so on. The use I've had for it before is if I've really been in the shit with a load of enemies surrounding me, throw the portable hole on the floor at your feet and just drop through to the next floor. Excuse me. So, let's take a grooved canister. And as with potions in many roguelikes, you can try drinking these at random, and you'll usually be fine. But I happen to know from painful experience that there are some canisters which will just kill you outright. Or do so much damage to you that at this early stage you can't sustain it without dying. So it is roulette. It really is Russian roulette, trying to drink canisters without knowing what they are. Did we pick up... yeah, we did pick up a couple of floppy disks. So actually, before I buy anything, or consider buying anything, I'm going to run these floppy disks. So run A. What do you want to debug? Okay, so this is what we wanted with our previous Predator. A disk that will allow us to debug something buggy. We actually don't have anything buggy at the moment, so I'm going to cancel it. I suspect that probably expends a use of it anyway, but we had nothing to debug. And we'll run the other one, the one labelled Papu. Scan the area for life forms. So that's, a detect monster thing or detect creature kind of thing. And as you can see, we have multiple uses of all of those. I'm actually not sure what the 6 means. I don't know what the numbers mean at the end of these item names. It's probably something really simple. I haven't given it that much thought, but I don't know offhand. But you can see that we used the floppy disk of life form detection, and it's still listed. Because a lot of floppy disks have multiple uses. When you've expended all of the uses, it'll tell you the disk blows up. So, what's in the shop? We probably don't want to spend much money because we're not far over the $200 threshold to just enter the robot market, which I think you have to do to pass through to the next floor when we get there. So, there's a mini computer. So, if you didn't start off with a computer, you might want to try and scrape together $500, maybe over the next couple of floors or so, and then come back to this shop and buy that mini computer. But we're okay. A second computer doesn't hurt. Sometimes I like to carry a backup computer in case I run one of the floppy disks that just knackers my computer. But we're not going to do that because we don't have the money. These cuboids, these green cuboids, are probably some form of grenade. Keycard, I very rarely come across a situation where a keycard is actually useful, at least as far as I've got. And that's a clunky electronic gizmo. Well, with only $278, we can't afford most of this anyway. And again, transfer cable probably has a use, but it's not something I've ever got into. Energy tank might actually be useful, but it's only got 58 charges. That's a lot for $400, and we don't have $400. So I'll tell you what. What's that? I'd give them away, but my wife bot won't let me. Yeah, you slick salesman droid. Okay, well, these cuboids... Well, it's only one cuboid. Are there multiples in any other spaces? No, that's just one. And that's just one. Okay, well, it's only $100, and it's probably some form of grenade. So let's buy one of those, and we'll press P to pay for whatever we just picked up. And we'll pay it. That still leaves us with $178. Over the next several floors, 5 floors, before we get to floor 10 and have to enter the robot market, we should be able to accumulate enough to get us back up to $200. That's not a big deal. So let's go downstairs. Okay. Ooh, high ping bastards. Prime, as I mentioned, is full of references to mainly science fiction, but also to real life in some regards. If high ping bastard is a reference to something science fictiony, I don't know about it. I take it as just a reference to real life, or at least internet life. He dropped money, shotgun, combat jacket. Don't really want any of that shit. Okay, let's move on. Whoa! Exploding money? Oh, Kamikaze Goblin is throwing stuff, grenades, and blowing up the money. Where is it? Oh, he's over there, just out of sight. You know what? We bought an unknown grenade from the shop. Let's try it. Just find out what it is. Ooh! We actually can't throw it. So that wasn't a grenade. Usually things like cuboids are grenades, but it's not in our throwing menu, which means it's not a grenade. Interesting. So, let's just kind of dodge and weave towards this guy, make ourselves a difficult target, and kill him. There we go. We're a bit low on health. We're down to 24 health out of 38. Oh, he blinded us. Phasers are really irritating. They don't do that much damage, but they blind you. Which actually generally doesn't stop you killing your enemies. You can usually hit them pretty effectively. Only 9 health left because we're battering against that door. Better rest and heal up. I don't think there's a rest command. Maybe there is. No, doesn't look like it. No. So, we'll just have to wait on the spot. And I'm not going to be as careless as in the previous run. I'm doing it with slower taps, so we can actually see if something approaches us. But yeah, so the cuboid, which I assumed was a grenade, is actually not. Let's use the apply command to see if we can make use of it. No, there are some canisters. Even the apply command doesn't work. What do we use it for then? Have we lost it? Huh, we don't have it for some reason. That's weird. That's very strange. Unless it was a proximity mine and we just didn't know. Yeah, I guess that seems to be the only thing it could be. Proximity mine, and we identified it when we picked it up, I guess. Interesting. Alright, let's let's not beat ourselves against that locked door. There's a fair chance that we can find a way around behind it. So, let's throw our smart disk, since they're all standing in a row here. Yeah, took one of them out, that's not too bad. Again, dodge across the room. Like that, take that out. Cylons, again, very referential. And there we go. I will take these many energy cells. No cells there, and energy cells there. You can see it lists what's on the space at the bottom of the screen. So we'll take the energy cells. And I'll take this floppy disk as well. Floppy disk labelled Abdar. Again, we don't know what that is, so I'm going to take a gamble and execute it. Your SATCOM computer overheats. That's one of the ones I warned you about. We now can't use our computer. Very irritating. So it actually might be worth us going back up to the shop. Let's throw our smart disk to get rid of that. Smart bomb explodes. So let's advance our skills. 4 advancements. Maybe we forgot to assign skills on the previous level up. So I'll put 2 in basic melee, 1 in thrown, and then I'll put 1 in light guns, because we'll probably start using an energy rifle or something similar at some point. So yeah, since we've now overheated our own computer, it actually might be worth going back up to the shop on the previous floor and buying the mini computer that they stocked there. I don't know if there's a way... Oh, crap. I don't know if there's a way to un-overheat our computer and make it usable again. So, if there is, I've never stumbled across it. Energy cells? Yeah. So, I mean, we have 578. That would leave us quite short on cash if we spent, I think it was 500, wasn't it? On buying the computer, but it might be worth it. Let's just run towards it. Yeah. That could have been very dangerous if there'd been other enemies behind that red shirt, but there weren't, so it's okay. Right, let's go back up and let's head for the shop. Yeah. This way. I kind of resent having to spend all this money on a computer when I already had one, but such is life in roguelikes. Buy, well, pick up, and then purchase. W. There we go. I'm going to hang on to the other computer in case we do discover a way of fixing it. But if we start finding that we're reaching our weight limit and we're in danger of becoming burdened, I might actually drop it, now that we have another computer. Yeah, so buggy floppy disk of logic bomb is the one that wrecked our previous computer. So I'm actually just going to get rid of that completely. There it is. Yep, drop that. Were there any other crap things I want to drop? No, I think the rest are okay. And a floppy disk of debugging could be very useful. So we'll hang on to that. Let's descend. Space base 6. And this is around the point it starts to get more difficult. 6, 7, maybe 8. You're bathed in a green glow. What's that? There's nothing on the ground. I don't know what that thing is. I've never seen one before. So I'll pick up this floppy disk, and again, we will execute it. A map appears on your screen. Your license for this software has expired. The floppy disk self-destructs. So that was just a one-use floppy disk. And now that we've expended that one use, it's gone. Bioarmor. Bioarmor can be quite good. We're already wearing plate armor. But since we're not burdened at the moment, I'll take it. In case we find a use for it later. You can... Bionic implant. You can find yourself in situations where your armor gets corroded or similar, so it doesn't hurt to have a second suit of armor. Apparently a goblin that's out of our line of sight is chucking grenades at us. There it is. It caught us in the blast, but it's okay. Get through the troll door. And another implant. Also prolate spheroids. I'll show you what prolate spheroids are. 2 more bionic implants. And apparently a Cadarin crystal shard. No idea what that thing is. Let's examine the crystal shard, which is capital B in our inventory. It doesn't seem to be radioactive. Market value $1,000. I don't think you can sell things to the shops, so that's a bit of a pain. Very pure, almost translucent. Your mind is flooded with thoughts, but they were not your own. When you concentrate, its latent energies release, calming your mind. It's very valued by the High Templar. It grants psychics a favour unattainable by other means. Well, we're not a psychic. We don't have any psionic stuff, but never mind. Again, it's not too much of a burden to us at the moment, so might as well carry it around. Now, are we ready to go to the next floor? Kind of lacking in health. Ominous sword. Oh yeah, I was just thinking I didn't feel like we'd explored much. We used the mapping disc, that's why everything's revealed. I'll take Ominous Sword, because I tend to find that my wrist blades do become corroded at some point. So it's nice to have a backup melee weapon. Although I am concerned that I haven't identified it, so the fact that it's ominous might be, ominous. Floppy disk of debugging. I'll get this thing, which is a bulbous canister. High ping bastards! Get away. Okay. I'll just take the money. Looks like we've got a secret room to the right there. But I'll deal with this Klingon first. Predator versus Klingon. There's a cheesy film waiting to be made. Ooh, something bitter, so now we're burdened. It's done strength damage to us. So, let's throw our smart disk through all the stuff that's there, whatever they are. And it's still depleting our strength. This is horrendous. It's depleting millions of strength. So, there isn't really a lot we can do other than keep pounding on it. No. Killed us. You die. I assume that's because our strength went below 0, which is a pretty brutal way to go. That was unlucky. There wasn't a great deal I could do about it. So, let's pop Prime back open, have another go. And actually this time, I told you about the ninja, so let's be the ninja for a bit. Let's be the ninja. Sounds like a stupid motivational thing. Actually, you know what? We haven't been a psionic character. I might as well show you one of those. So let's be Space Orc Weird Boy Warphead. So here we are, wearing our what looks like spandex. Don't want to make that mistake. Superheroes dressed in latex is a very different proposition from superheroes dressed in spandex. Okay, so let's have a look at what we've got. Copper staff, which obviously is melee weapon. Incongruously Prussian helmet. And an ordinary jumpsuit. We've also got nano cola, canister of healing, and debugged canister of Radaway. Radaway does the same thing that Radaway does in Fallout 3, for instance. Reduces your irradiatedness. We should also, because we're a psyker, have Mutant Powers, Psi Vomit, and Adrenaline Control. As with the equipment, these seem to be chosen more or less at random. They're more randomised than the equipment is. And sometimes you'll get a pair of just useless psionic abilities from the outset. Or abilities that have very, very specialised uses. So let's press Tab to see what these are. We'll have a look at Psi Vomit. You open your mouth and let all built-up psionic energy out in chosen direction. Quite devastating, but requires that you be at your full psionic capacity or overcharged. Temporarily drains your psionics down to nothing. Can hit several creatures in a row, so it's powerful but draining. Adrenaline Control, which as you can see has only a 30% chance of success when we use it. Adjusts adrenaline levels in your body to become stronger. You have some psionic powers which you can switch on. One of them is called War Flow. Okay, I might seem like I cut off in the middle of a sentence or something there. I actually don't remember. What happened was my laptop, which I record the commentary track on, died, so I've had to sort of reinstate it, and I can't remember what I was saying before that happened. So let's just pick up from here, shall we? What were we doing? Right. I think I was explaining about stuff like war flow, which you can turn on and turn off, and it's kind of has a constant effect when it's on. But most psionic powers are use by use. So, what do we have here? I'm not sure if this is an enemy, actually. It's not. It's a power plant. A power plant! Don't see those very often. Pick that up. It's probably quite heavy. Maybe that's what the number in brackets is, actually. Maybe that's the weight or something. So let's examine our power plant, see what it says. Doesn't tell us much of what it does, but congratulations, you've won one of the following. Free hot Urquan Kazazar babes playing with power plants video. Free shipment of power plants to Maze. Free power plant supply voucher for a year. You get that kind of flavour text on a lot of items. Okay, so let's move on. Looks like that's a piece of shiny armour to our sort of northwestish there. Shiny armour can be fairly good. I think it reflects certain kinds of attack, so we will take that. Actually, might put it on. I'm not sure whether armour affects your psionic abilities in the way that it affects casting abilities in something like Wazhack or Nethack. Let's have a look. Yeah, it doesn't seem to have reduced our chance of using psionic powers. So, that's okay. And it seems we actually put it on over our jumpsuit. Yeah, we have our own sort of style here. No wonder they call us a weird boy. Our character, that is, he's called Weird Boy, Space Orc Weird Boy. I wasn't just, lamenting the things people say about me. Okay. Let's kick it. But we don't have a lot of health. We only have a handful of health points because we're a psyker. Obviously not really a brawling class. So we don't want to damage ourselves against doors too much. You can actually easily kill yourself by trying to break down doors if you're a physically weak character. So we'll rest a few turns to get our health back and then proceed. Okay, we've got a couple of these, what are they, rad roaches or something over here. And just for the fun of it, I'll show off Psi Vomit. Here we go, let's vomit at the bugs. Yeah! Well, we hit one anyway. Apparently we didn't hit the other one. What's that? Blindfold. I'll take it. I've never come across anything where a blindfold is beneficial, but I suspect there are probably kinds of enemies later in the game where it will be useful to be able to block off your sight. Heavy belt. Could be good, but we do need to be able to identify it. And, as I've mentioned, most characters don't start with a computer. So, in order to identify things like that, we really need to be able to acquire a computer and the appropriate disk. So it's much more trial and error if you're playing as a character that doesn't start with a computer. So, 3 skill advancements. Don't want to take a level of swords because we don't have a sword. Concentration is to do with sustaining our psionic effects, but I'm not going to bother because we don't have one that needs sustaining. And these meta-psychic faculties ones, I'll show you now. They affect your ability to perform certain mutant powers, basically. So we probably want the one that contains Psi Vomit. So I'm actually going to... Well, I'll see which one it's in first. Psi Vomit is in Creativity. Creative Vomit. So I'm going to put a level directly in Psi Vomit itself, and then I'll put one in Creativity, which is the category of that skill, or that power. And I'll also put one in Concentration because helps you sustain any continuous mutant powers when you might otherwise get distracted. We might get a non-exhaustive list of distractions follows. Getting stunned, getting probed in the anus. Wow. Okay. Actually, I'm not going to take a level of that. Not because I don't want to be distracted while being probed in the anus. But because, I mean, the chances of us happening to come across a sustained power are not enormous. So, let's take a level of Spot for spotting hidden stuff. There we go. And we'll just keep bashing stuff with our copper staff. And then we'll talk to the Melnorm. See, this is what I was saying before. Usually, until you've successfully used a Melnorm service, you don't know what exactly each one is. And you can actually find that you don't understand it. So I might spend the $36 and it could say you fail to understand what the Melnorm's doing. And then you still don't know what it is. So we don't have $36 to experimentally spend on Huffy Muffy Guffy. So we'll just move on. But that will be one of the services that we've seen Melnorms provide before. Okay. Padded uniform doesn't interest me. That looks like a very ambitious cupcake, but actually it's a bumpy bionic implant. Not a veiny canister. Veiny canister is an item you sometimes come across in this game, and it's deeply unpleasant, for reasons that will become apparent if you ever pick one up. I will, incidentally, link to the place where you can download this game in the description box below. And like many roguelikes, it's free. It's free to download. It's basically someone's pet project, labour of love, so they don't actually charge for it. You can probably donate. I'm not sure, but a lot of roguelike creators let you donate to them if you want to. I've donated to a couple. To the Slimy Lich Mummy and another one, Infra Arcana, I think. Anyway, let's head down the stairs. Have we got anything to quaff? We've got a few things to quaff, but only one that's a mystery. Let's experimentally quaff our chromed canister. Beer. So that's given us confusion status for a few turns, which is annoying because I'm just trying to open the door and I can't do it because of the beer. Oh, it was locked as well. I couldn't even tell it was locked because of the beer. That should sound very familiar to anyone who's ever been out drinking on New Year's Eve. Grey Talk, which is something we can wear, but again, the effects are unknown at this point. Slimy Bionic Implant. And some money. You know what? Let's experiment without implants. That sounds unpleasant. First, the bumpy implant. You gain access to Technical Knowledge Database. It's a debugged spot skillsoft, which basically adds to our spot ability. It's like it contains a program or software that enhances our capabilities in a certain area, skill area. So it's actually, this one has enhanced our ability to spot, which is nice because I'd put a level point into spot anyway. What about the other one? The Slimy Bionic Implant. Here we go. Let's slurp it into our brain. Into the parietal lobe. +3 cerebral coprocessor. Sounds like it would have a good effect, but I'm not sure what it does exactly, so let's examine it. Advanced cognitive functions, mainly analytical and mathematical, which would require years of training to develop otherwise. Originally developed in a medical context for the treatment of the mentally impaired, it soon found its way to the black market. Eventually, the research lobbies tore down all regulations regarding its production and market circulation. So not really sure exactly what the practical effect of that is, but never mind. You know what? Let's take a shotgun. We didn't use a shotgun in our previous runs, so let's take one here. I don't want to walk through this door because we'll pass dangerously close to that plant and it can own our ass. We don't really have a way of fighting it from this angle. So let's see if we can circle round. Oh, crap! I got carried away again. Oh, some of you will be furious that I keep doing that. I was distracted by trying to plan my route round into that other room. Anyway, I tend not to do very well with psionic characters because they're physically so weak. And I'm far too reliant on melee combat. Let's, I said I might show you the ninja, let's do it. So you can see here, you actually get a backstory with the ninja, and one or two of the other classes. This is kind of creepy, though. You've come here bearing the body of your mentor. It was his request that the interment be performed here. Oddly, the station gave no response to your docking request. You pull into an open shuttle bay and prepare to disembark. Nobody came to greet you, nor to extract docking fees. The hangar is devoid of all personnel, save for a bunch of service robots. You enlist them to help with proper burial procedures, carefully overseeing that all rituals are performed properly. Quite how you bury someone on a space station, I don't know. Shove them under a floor panel, I guess. After this silent funeral, you sit down and reminisce many events you and your master lived through together. A certain memory refuses to leave your mind, continuing to pester you mercilessly. Long ago driven by there should be a comma there. Long ago, comma, driven by curiosity, comma, you managed to get your mentor badly drunk. You were curious about his ability to be drunk? He raved about his exploits of youth for hours on end. His passion would wane when he got to tell about the Bizarro Orgasmatron, an artifact of untold power he was absolutely sure existed but never found. Every journey to obtain it proved fruitless and made him the mockery of his peers. The legendary elusive Orgasmatron. You know he desired it, no doubt, with a name like that. That was his greatest dream. Sadly, he never got to turn it into reality. So, I guess we're looking for it on his behalf. So you can see, now, the ninja isn't very visible appropriately, but if you stand next to the door, you can see on the right, we get a little camouflaged status appearing. Next to the wall, rather. Let's kill some tribbles, which is fine. I'll have a look at our inventory momentarily. There we go. We start off with 3 frag grenades, which are very useful for any time we don't want to get up close, because the ninja doesn't start with ranged weapons at all. And the other one is our optimised katana, which, as I said, is actually a pretty powerful melee weapon straight away. Armour, optimised +1 chameleon suit, which is the thing that allows us to be camouflaged against walls. We can put on other armour, take this off and put something else on, or we can put things like trench coats over the top of it. But again, that removes the chameleon effect that allows us to camouflage. The other thing is actually our favourite of the various sets of glasses that the ninja starts with, X-ray goggles. The reason is, it allows you to identify secret rooms very easily. So that's nice. Reflex coordinator in our head, and tissue regenerator in our head. I'll have a quick examine of those, see what they do. Reflex coordinator. Not sure, I'd guess it maybe increases either agility or dexterity or something like that. And the other one, tissue regenerator. Blah, 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 blah. Regenerated people get hungry faster. Okay. Is there hunger in this? I've never come across any signs of hunger in this game, so I'm not sure if that's an oversight or a reference, or whether I've just never lasted long enough for my character to get hungry. Alright, we need to get past these barrels, and we don't have a projectile weapon to do it with. We're going to have to waste a frag grenade on it. There we go, destroyed all the fuel barrels, and we'll grab this canister and immediately shove it down our neck. You feel much healthier, +1 max HP, which is quite nice to be fair. Again, we could drink sludge from this vat to gain psionic powers if we wanted to, but we're not going to do that, because for the most part it's more dangerous than it's worth. Like fountains in Nethack, in fact. Can be very beneficial, but can also be very, very harmful. And I think they've actually been made more risky in the most recent update. I'm sure I used to be able to drink from them with relative impunity, but now I tend to die of radiation if I start drinking from those things. Okay, skill advancements. First, we're one of the very few classes that actually starts with a sword, so I'll put a couple of levels into sword combat, and then I'll put one into pick locks, because the ninja's usually pretty good at picking locks. You can see we start with debugged lockpick, so we don't have to kick down doors as much as most other characters do. Aluminium canister? Well, sorry, aluminum canister. Where I come from, it's pronounced aluminium, and it's actually spelt aluminium as well. We have an extra I in there for some reason. Let's quaff this. It shocks you! 13 damage. So actually, we're lucky that we took a level up before we drank that thing, because it might have killed us if we hadn't. Okay. So that's what I mean about drinking canisters being very much Russian roulette in this game. But you get so few chances to identify anything that a lot of the time Russian roulette is your best option. Okay, what's this thing? Kevlar jacket. Probably not going to need that. With the ninja, I like to pick up some armour, often bio armour if I can find it, basically to give us an option if we find ourselves surrounded by enemies. Mostly I keep the chameleon suit, But if we do find ourselves surrounded by enemies at some point, it can be useful to have a more sort of open combat focused item of armour to fall back on. But Kevlar jacket is probably not it. Did you notice also that because of our X-ray glasses, we could actually see some of the items lying in the shop? So I knew that was going to be a shop before I got there. Okay. We only have $71, so we probably can't afford anything. Don't want an indigo jumpsuit anyway. Can't afford that canister. Again, I don't know what the use of duct tape is, so I'm not going to bother. Canister of healing. $50. We could afford that, and it might actually be worth taking. Fuel tank, for if we find a flamethrower. Copper canister, can't quite afford it. Telescoped rifle. Floppy disk. Floppy disk is tempting, but we don't have a computer. So I'm just going to take one of the healing canisters. There are two here in the shop. And then I'll pay. Like that. That takes us down to $21, which obviously is nowhere near the 200 odd that we need to get into the robot market. But we're only on floor 2, so we have plenty of time to seek more money. Did we find the stairs? Not sure. Have we walked right past them? Oh, they're over here. I was looking at the mini-map there. There we go. I think the stairs are marked in yellow on the mini-map. I think. So, we've got a human psionic guy there who made us go to sleep and then punched us. So we'll hack him down. Yeah. And we've got a level up. So, a level of swords. A level of pick locks. And there's no point putting any in the psionic categories because we don't have any psionic powers. So I'm also going to take a level of thrown weapons because we do have a couple of grenades and it doesn't hurt to make the most of those. Okay, let's take this grey talk and the bionic implant, money, canister. Ooh, and a purple keycard while we're at it. Excellent. So let's whack the implant straight into our head. No idea what it is. So I guess let's remove it. Just in case it's harmful. It could be useful. At least we know it's not buggy because we successfully removed it. But, no, don't go near the mine. Don't go near the mine. I know there's a secret room there, but I don't think we can go near it without setting off the mine. It contains a floppy disk, and we don't have a way to run floppy disks at the moment anyway, so let's just leave it. Ah, speak of the devil. There's a computer right there in that secret room. That is one hell of a secret room find. I don't often find computers in secret rooms. So, from here it might actually be worth going back for that floppy disk. What I would hope for is maybe we can find a projectile weapon. Even if it's just a laser pistol or something. Something we can use to set off that mine. We could throw a grenade at it, but that's kind of a waste of a grenade. Stormtrooper Helmet. They're funny. I'm not going to wear it, but I want to show you. Stormtrooper Helmets consist of 4-layered construction, blah blah blah, quoted from Wikipedia, which is actually a website, if you're not aware. The helmets have faulty visual systems, resulting in hampered aim of the wearer. To make matters worse, the helmet's visors are too small, further hindering the wearer's sight. So that's a fun little reference to the infamously poor aim of stormtroopers. So I'm not going to wear that. Okay, just something projectile-y, copper stick. I mean, I'll take it. I'm going to continue using a sword, but in case something happens to the sword, copper stick. Ray gun. This is actually the first ray gun we've seen today. And ray guns are the equivalent of wands. They even use the same command, the zap command. So that's very thinly disguised wand. So, what we can probably do is use... Oh, fell into the pit there. We can probably use the ray gun to shoot this mine. There we go. Heat ray. So it's actually a heat ray gun. That's pretty good. Those are fairly powerful. Let's search by basically waiting on the spot. There isn't a search command. There we go. Secret door. Open the door. Kill the Minoc. Get the disc. Of Zawsome, apparently. Okay. So, let's play around with our discs a bit. We'll run Geno Divad. Disk boot failure. Insert system disk and press enter. Your computer lights floppy drive LEDs for a moment. Okay. Basically, it turns on some lights, and I don't know why. Can I still use the other one? Tell me it hasn't wrecked the computer I've just found. Yeah. Or it might just be a buggy computer. That's a possibility. That it's not able to run anything at the moment. That could be it. In which case, it's possible that I just made both of those discs buggy by putting them in it. Another ray gun. This one's different. Black ray gun. Don't know what the effect of that will be until we try it. There are our stairs. So I'm going to try the black ray gun on these anal probe wielding reticulans. Stasis ray. So they can't move. So let's move in and hack them down with our katana. Space katana. Several objects. Nothing I particularly want. Lightsaber! There's a lightsaber. I bet that counts as a sword. I'm going to take that. I've never seen a lightsaber in this. I'm not surprised it's there, but I've never seen one before. Excruciator. I think an excruciator is a bad implant, so we're very lucky that that's actually been identified. In fact, I'm going to throw it on the floor. Yes, I'm that confident that's what it is. Yeah, -5 mini computer. I think our computer is buggered. So, let's throw our... Yeah, it's listed under implants, the excruciator. So let's throw the excruciator on the floor. And let's examine, firstly, our katana, see how much damage that does. Blade 1 to 10 hack and slash damage. And then I'm going to examine the lightsaber. 2 to 12 hack and slash plus 1 to 8 fire. Yes. Yes. So, let's wield our lightsaber. Oh yeah. Lightsaber wielding ninja. Okay. Got a Melnorm. We could pay for Tarpoon, Wezzy Wezza, or Tougher Yuff. Not sure which one's which. If you were really well versed in the game, you could probably deduce based on the prices what each one is, but I can't. So, as far as I know, none of them will actually fix our computer. Was it buggy? I know it was -5, but was it buggy? Doesn't say. Probably is. We could do that. Hope to reveal bugginess. So let's spend $32. Perform service on mini computer. There you go. Oh no, it's a debugged computer. It's just shit. That's very aggravating. Alright, well, let's descend. Okay, we've got a potato. It's not a potato, it's tapioca, which isn't much better. Level 4. Since we're very, very melee-centric, I'm going to say agility again. Oh, and of course I need to level up my skills. Nearly forgot that. Another level of swords. Another level of thrown. And I'm going to take a level of programming to try and offset the crapness of our -5 computer. I'm not sure if that's how it works, but I'm going to hope that it is. Might as well take some energy cells, because again, you never know when you're going to need a gun, and most of the guns use energy cells. I'm actually going to use frag grenades for this, which might be overkill, but holy crap. No, I'm stunned. Get away from me. Okay, you're using the lightsaber. I know I am. Better back off and get some health back before we try to rush down that red shirt. We've got another Melnorm here. No, I'm not bothered really about doing any of those things. Let's see if we can work around behind the red shirt rather than charging along that long straight corridor towards it. Him or her can be either way. Red shirts can be both genders. I think Klingons can as well. I don't know if that's true of all enemies in this. Did the red shirt... I think the red shirt killed the other red shirt. Somehow that seems very appropriate. Kill these goblins. Canister of healing. Definitely take one of those. Must remember that I've got 2 canisters of healing. And what we've got here is another tissue regenerator and some more floppy disks. So I will put the second tissue regenerator in my head. It's presumably 2 are better than 1, I would assume. And must remember that we've got a couple of healing canisters, because obviously they could literally save the outcome of our run, if it comes to that. When it comes to that. It's a roguelike, it always comes to that. Let's pick up the energy cells. And we'll find this secret door. Where are you? There you are. And a shop. Ooh, tempting. Oh, there's a warbot on guard. Don't want to attack it. If it gives you a yes-no option like that, really attack, that means it's friendly or at least not hostile. Don't think I want to attack something friendly called a warbot, frankly. Floppy disk labelled Papu is surprisingly expensive, so it might actually be a good disk. We already have one, so it might be worthwhile if we ever manage to run it. Veiny canister is very nasty. I know what that contains. As far as I'm aware, veiny canisters always contain the same thing, and I want no part of it. I'm not going to spoil the surprise for any of you who play this, but it's not pretty. I've already partially spoiled the surprise by telling you it's bad. The first time I found one, I just drank it, and oh god, I wish I hadn't. I wished I hadn't. Okay, we have $333. Do we want any of this crap? Honestly, I don't think we do. I mean, I don't want to spend $300 on one of these floppy disks, which is... No, don't attack the Clark bot. The floppy disks are the only things I'm really interested in there, and I don't want to spend $300 of my $333 on them. Let's see if we can run one of these disks now that I've put a level of programming in. Again, I don't know if that's how it works, but it's worth a go. No. Oh, operating system installed successfully. Oh! Was that the problem? Did we not have an operating system on it? Let's try running something else. A map appears on your screen. That was it! That was it! Oh my god. See, this is one of the great things about Prime. A lot of the mechanics and things are familiar from other roguelikes. But then it puts its own little twists on them, like that. Not only do you need an item to enable you to use the equivalent of scrolls, floppy disks, you need another item to enable you to use them. But additionally, you need to make sure you have an operating system on the computer before you can run floppy disks. And I'm learning things about Prime all the time. I've played it some, not loads, but it is one of my favourites, if not my favourite roguelike, even though I'm bad at it. So we've got a disc of mapping. We've also got a disc of Zawsome. Let's see what that is. Your green lightsaber feels warm for a moment. So that one, we only got one use out of it before it self-destructed. But that, I believe, should have actually successfully improved our lightsaber. Yes, +1 green lightsaber. So that's kind of the opposite of the buggy one of those discs that we found earlier that ruined one of our weapons. This one has actually improved our lightsaber. We got a bit of lag there, but I think that's my PC rather than the game. Stormtroopers, not too worried, because they are characteristically rubbish shots. So let's just wade into the middle, hack them both down. And we gained a level. So I'll take skill ups first. 1 level of swords. 1 level of thrown weapons. And I'm going to take a level of light guns. You know what? I'm going to take a level of handgun. Whoa, that's lots of levels going into light guns there. What about handguns? Yeah, we can put several levels into handguns. That's interesting. Is that how this works? Have I been doing it wrong all along? Is 3 skill advancements a matter of advancements to 3 skills? Is that how it works? Maybe I've been misunderstanding all this time. Anyway, so I'll put 3 levels into handguns because we are finding a lot of pistols and things generally. So you've got a blaster pistol there. So let's take the energy cells and the blaster pistol. So at least we have a ranged weapon for if we need it. We won't be tremendously effective with it, but at least we can use it for things like blowing up mines. So we don't have to waste our ray guns, i.e. our wand equivalent spells, items rather. Anyway, let's move on. Getting thirsty, so I'm going to take a swig of my delicious Tea Pigs Earl Grey. I'm not sponsored by Tea Pigs, I just think they make good tea. There we go. I'm not sponsored by anyone. A couple of people have been surprised that I don't make money from these videos. See all the adverts? No adverts, i.e. no money. So, let's hack up these green fruit. Ooh, Kamikaze Goblin is doing a number on us. Fortunately it's dead, but it did actually come dangerously close to killing us. Buggy concussion grenade, that's alright. And smooth steel discs are probably some form of grenade as well. Not necessarily, but there's a good chance that they are. Oh, I never showed you the prolate spheroids before, did I? And that character's dead now. Oh well, you'll just have to play Prime yourself and find out for yourself what prolate spheroids really are. Okay. He's not carrying any energy ammo, so I'll just ignore that lot. Okay. Energy cells there, so I'll take those. Add a little bit more before we move on to the next floor. Notice that we're now on Space Base 6, so we're just getting into the bit that's actually properly dangerous now. Okay. Ooh, there's a blue ray gun. So, not bothered about wimpy pistol, but let's take the blue ray gun and see what's in here. Titanium canister, $5. That's probably crap. Not necessarily, but probably. Laser rifle. Well, we have a pistol. That's probably all we need. Unknown floppy disk. Canister of healing. Cape with knockoff fake Superman logo on it. Flashlight. Another floppy disk called Hello World. The floppy disks are a gamble. I mean, they could be good, they could be terrible. So I'm going to stick with a known quantity that's actually reasonably cheap and buy canister of healing. So I'll pay for that. Like so. And then be on my way. And let's head down to the next floor, shall we? I'm hoping that with our several canisters of healing, we might actually be able to survive long enough to get to the robot market. Floppy disk labelled Hello World, which we passed up in the shop. It's risky. I don't feel good about this. Instinctively, I feel like it's going to be a bad disc, but let's give it a go. Chameleon suit feels warm. Okay. So it actually improved our chameleon suit. Yeah. Seems so. It's now +2 chameleon suit. That's good. It's tempting to go back up and get the other Hello World disc and do the same. Use that and improve our armour further. But for all we know, the one in the shop is buggy, which would mean it would actually ruin the improvement we just made. Plus, there are a lot more shops if we get as far as the robot market. So there'll be a lot more options to spend our extra money on. So I'm going to hold on for that. Tea. Okay. So, let's just roam around a bit. You might be thinking, as I did when I was still fairly, even less experienced than I am in Prime, you might be thinking, these levels are all pretty samey, this kind of repetitive dark blue tiled thing. Once you get past the robot market, the environment changes. I think the environments change periodically throughout the game, like a lot of games. Professional rank is now Looming Shadow. So, let's take some skill advancements. Let's see how this works. Is it 3 separate skills? I always assumed it meant 3 skill points, but maybe it doesn't. So let's take swords. Okay, can put a couple of levels in swords. And handguns. Yeah, we can put 3 levels in handguns. And how about picklocks? Yeah. Wow, okay. Wait, and we can put levels in search as well? What the hell? Okay, this makes no sense to me at all. I don't know if this is a bug or I'm just fundamentally not understanding the design or what, but let's run with it. Wow, okay. Well, let's put some levels in thrown weapons. There we go. Alright, things to hear. Flamethrower, fuel tank, debugged rigid aluminium rounded boxes. Again, probably grenades. Not necessarily, but probably. Flamethrower, steel pincers, fuel tank jumpsuit. No, I don't want any of that crap either. Alright, let's just look around the room. And then move on. Another sword. -1 antique sword. No, not going to bother. Lime ray gun. So I do want to try out that ray gun when we have the chance. Basically, the next time we're facing an enemy. So, what is that enemy, actually? Troubleshooter. Troubleshooter wields 2 concussion grenades. I don't think so. I'm going to zap you with my lime ray gun. Whoa, that blew me up. Oh, it's because he threw a concussion grenade. Do I know what the ray gun is? No, wrong key. Gamma ray gun. Not sure what effect that has. Oh god, there's more of them over there. Oh, he feels shiny. Wears shiny armour, so might actually bounce the rays off, which is pretty nasty. And that's why I'm running away. Depleted our constitution. I think over time you can get that back, but I could be wrong. Like, I have at times had my stats reduced, and they've actually just climbed back up to their original level over time. Doesn't seem to be happening here. Actually, our constitution seems to be getting lower. Oh, we've got radiation sickness. Oh, is that because of my gamma ray gun? I'm guessing here, but I'm guessing maybe the gamma ray gun we shot at that guy bounced off his reflective armour and gammaed our own head. So, our constitution is depleting, our speed is depleting, our maximum hit points will start going down if they haven't already. This is bad. I don't think I have any Radaway. I have unknown copper canister, so I'll drink from that in case it's Radaway. No, it's freezing stuff, knocked us down to 2 health. Let's drink the healing stuff. I don't know if that has any effect on radiation. I'm guessing probably not. Your wounds are rapidly healing. Okay, let's have another one. You feel much healthier. Max MP is up, so that's offset a bit of it. But we're still radiation sick. Oh, crap. This is not good. Basically, our days are numbered. We're not going to last much longer beyond this. There's a canister. I'm going to go out there and search, get that canister in case it's Radaway. Okay. This is skin belt. Don't care. I'll take it, but I don't really care. Okay, let's zap with the blue ray gun. What was that? Acceleration ray gun. Oh, crap. Wand of speed, basically. Okay. Well, let's not use the gamma ray gun in case Stormtroopers also reflected, or in case it was nothing to do with being reflected. Let's use the heat ray gun. So, zap with Q. There we go. Stormtroopers dodged it. Oh, let's just hack the things with our lightsaber. We're thematically consistent, at least. We're fighting stormtroopers with a lightsaber here. We're burdened because our constitution has been depleting, which is an issue. Means we're slower, of course. Stormtroopers started punching us, which is not usually the stormtrooper way. That was a lot of stormtroopers. Okay, there's a Klingon here. Lightsaber versus Klingon. The stuff of many a fan fiction. And I'm going to quaff the titanium canister. Please be Radaway. Canister sticks to your tongue. You look ridiculous. Oh my god. You can't drink anything with this stupid canister glued to your mouth. That's never happened before. Oh my god. Wow. This is the unluckiest run in the universe. And apparently we've now got mute status. Don't want to reveal object bugginess. Let's just try something, anything. Perform service on Gossamer Bionic Implant. -4 Gossamer Bionic Implant. At least it was probably a good idea not wearing that. I don't care about the other stuff. Oh god, we're gonna die. We're gonna die horribly. After killing a Klingon, to be fair, but let's run this banana disk. Identify program. Finally we get an identify program. You really don't find many of those in this game. Let's find out what the... did we have an implant that we haven't identified yet? Tissue regenerator, Gossamer Bionic Implant. It's a -4, whatever it is. We don't want to know. So... I don't know why the gamma ray gun's green. Whatever. Let's find out what the lizard skin belt is. I parried the beam with my lightsaber, apparently. So, did we find out what the belt is? Let's use the where command. Debugged energy belt. Let's examine that. 20 built-in tiny containers hidden inside the fabric. I think you can use it to... Yeah, it's got 66 charges. I think you can use it like a load of energy cells. So you might as well put it on. Can't hurt. Can't hurt any more than being completely consumed by radiation. Constitution's now down to 3. We should probably drop some of our stuff, but I'm kind of resigned to our imminent death here. But you can see radiation is slowly killing us off. It's gradually depleting our constitution. It's a nasty way to go. So we'll take some levels of swords, take some levels of handguns, thrown weapons, picklocks, search, programming. This is bizarre. Why is it allowing me to put millions of levels into loads and loads of things? Is it because I've been spending them wrongly all along? Is that why? Or can I just put points into everything? Is that a thing? It seems like it is. Okay, clearly I don't understand the level up system in this game. I have no idea what's going on there. Oh, you're overcome by your illness, and you die. Yeah, I mean, we'd identified most of our stuff anyway, but there it is, nonetheless. Alright, I think that'll do it, actually. We're getting... Yeah, we're well over an hour. So, yeah, let's leave it there. That has been a one-off Let's Play of Prime. One of my favourite roguelikes, if not actually my favourite roguelike. I will, of course, link down below to a place where you can download it for free. It's still under development, like most free roguelikes. It hadn't been updated for quite a long time. Well, a year, maybe 2 years. I think about a year. Until recently, and then there was a recent update that added quite a lot of stuff. It is, like most roguelikes, brutally unforgiving. And it's a little galling to me that we didn't manage to get to floor 10 in the robot market. But such is the nature of roguelikes. But I do recommend Prime. Plays very well, very smoothly. It does most of the stuff that Nethack does, but just plays a lot better and is a lot more user-friendly. So, for my money, this is a much better option. Not to mention, it's humorous and full of sci-fi references, so there's that. Anyway, thanks for watching me play Prime, and return the next time when there'll be more game-related stuff. Until then, bye for now.